My name is Kyle Steele. I'm a candidate for Norman City Council, Ward 6 for the upcoming election cycle, and this is the summary for the Oversight Committee meeting that happened on December 11th, 2025. As usual, the agenda packet, as well as timestamps to the various points of the meeting, will be linked down below in case you want to watch the full section of that meeting based off of this summary. This was a meeting that lasted about 2.5 hours, and the first part of this meeting was an update on the operation of the homeless shelter from City Care. As a reminder, City Care is the group that the city contracts out to run the shelter. City Cares did state that on average 51 people per night are using this shelter, and so far this year the city has seen 397 unique people spend nights in their shelter. City Care then went over the demographics and general statistics of those who come into the shelter, as well as some things they try to do to help those that come in. And if you're interested in the details of that, I would just click the link below. It's really too much to cover in the summary, but they really kind of broke down the self-reported demographics and essentially the programs they go over to help these various types of homeless individuals who come into the shelter. The bottom line, however, is that homelessness in Norman is on the rise, especially for people who are older and homeless for the first time. And essentially this is because they are usually living on a fixed income and the cost of living just doesn't really keep up. So as a result, they become homeless. The next item that was discussed on the agenda was an update from the Homeless Coalition on the Homebase action plan. The Homeless Coalition consists of 14 members from across the community that are involved in the sector locally in some way. The coalition did identify the number one priority of the action plan is the creation of a permanent 24/7 homeless shelter, which, as you recall, the city is on track to do with the recent purchase of land in the Ward 4 area. The entire action plan does contain a lot of information, so if you're wanting that starts on page 2 of the agenda packet. So I would just click the agenda packet link below, go to page 2, and you can kind of see what they recommend. And the next item that was discussed was a possible change to the short-term rental ordinance. As a reminder, short-term rentals are things like hotels and Airbnbs. Essentially, the legal definition is a place you rent for less than 30 days. You know, if you rent it for over 30 days, at that point, it becomes a long-term rental. Now, currently, there are 429 licensed short-term properties that qualify as short-term rentals, of which about half are in Ward 4. And these are mostly going to be Airbnb-style rentals, not really hotels. As an aside for Ward 6 residents, since I am running for Ward 6 City Council, there are 24 properties in Ward 6 that qualify, that have a short-term rental license. So really not that many, compared to the rest of Norman, especially Ward 4. Now, the discussion was around the current statistics of these short-term Airbnb-style rentals with regards to the prices that these are being rented out yet, the property values of the homes, as well as general license requirements. If you want to see the specifics to that conversation, again, link down below. But it sounds like that city staff will be exploring ways to limit the clusters of short-term rentals that are really starting to pop up in Ward 4. You know, and for the rest of Norman, it's pretty spread out. It's not as much of a problem, but if you look at the map that was provided in the meeting, Ward 4, it's really starting to get clustered with the short-term rentals in some areas of it. The final topic that went over is the right to a lawyer during eviction proceedings. Essentially, what was being discussed is that for the most part, when a tenant is being evicted, the landlord will have a lawyer, but the person being evicted will almost never have one for a variety of reasons. Basically, you know, if you're being forced into the eviction process, you most likely can't afford a lawyer, or these eviction procedures go so quick that you don't really have time to find one. Currently, in Norman, you do not have the right to talk to an attorney for eviction procedures, and essentially it's thought that if that did become a right to counsel for eviction, then this process could become much more managed. You know, a person who is being evicted is not going to be taken advantage of legally, and more importantly, you'll be then connected to resources that, you know, either nonprofits or the city provides if you are in the process of getting evicted. The study that was quoted, it was essentially saying that for every dollar that you spend on these kind of lawyers for eviction procedures, you're saving $6 to $7 in other areas. Staff is essentially going to be exploring funding methods for a pilot program to get this set up and see if something that the city of Norman can make work. And so this is going to be brought back up in a future oversight meeting. That was the end of the meeting, though. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about me or my campaign, feel free to reach out to me at KyleForNorman@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a good day.